I am so excited to be speaking at RBTC's Emerging Tech Conference in October, and I have the fabulous opportunity to speak to some of the speakers, one of which is Ben Kelly, who is one of the keynotes. So, Ben, why don't you share more about yourself and what you're talking about?
Ben Kelly, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Applied Atomics. We build co-located nuclear fission for hard to decarbonize heavy industry. So for industries that need a lot of power, Virginia has Data Center Alley. There's a lot of folks working on green steel, green concrete, hydrogen, e-fuels. These require a lot of power, and that power needs to be carbon free. And we believe that nuclear power is a really great way to get there. But historically, nuclear power has been too expensive and really hard to deploy. And so we're a bunch of former SpaceX engineers that are taking lessons we learned deploying Falcon 9, bringing it over to the nuclear industry to try to, safely deploy more affordable nuclear power.
Okay, amazing. And I just feel smarter being in your presence right now. Let me just say that. So, Ben, what are you talking about? Tell us the quick headline of what your emphasis will be in this emerging tech conference.
Sure, yeah. I was asked to speak on what I call lessons in practical imagination. And so, I grew up as a bush pilot in Alaska. I went on and did both early launch for SpaceX as well as some of the first landing missions on the ocean with their barge that we built, and just sharing some of the lessons that I picked up along the way and how those apply to other areas of emerging technology and what people can kind of be looking for as they're, collaborating across disciplines. It doesn't take just engineers to build things like this. It takes a lot of different people. And I think the practical part is you have to be able to imagine it, but it's got to be a little bit more than just a wish or a dream. It has to be rooted in the practicality of what are the systems, what are the steps, what are the ways in which we can actually make this real, both foundationally through the physics, but also, usually even more challenging through working with the people to get it accomplished. And so what does it take to identify those opportunities, put some things in place to go and get them and make what we call the adjacent possible kind of come into being. And so that'll be I think, day two keynote, morning keynote.
So, what I'm really hearing is your talk is around taking the things that we ideate in our heads, that we talk about as good ideas, that we want to drive more innovation and collaboration for the strategic initiatives that will help our company. How do you actually take that from just the good ideas that's happening in the boardrooms, in the meeting rooms, on the whiteboards, and actually operationalize that so that it comes to life? Like, what are the practical things that we need to do to get that idea into operationalizing it?
Yeah, well said. Yeah, really good. I mean, I think we all know the people who are like really brave in the conference room and have a lot of really great ideas, and then the time comes to actually implement or do something, and people start to disappear a little bit. And so, yeah, I think that hit the nail right on the head.
Okay, good. I can't wait to hear your talk. Now, my sneak question. So, Bamboo Teaming, we work with executive leadership teams to help them remove the friction that's slowing down their collaboration and their relationships so that they can accelerate results and do it in a way where teaming is fun. Teaming is exciting. They're winning together in organizations. What would you say, Ben, in 2026? What should executive teams focus on in terms of how they are working together at the top to drive that innovation and collaboration across their organization? What would be the most important teaming skill that they
Yeah.
need to have as teams at the top?
That's a great question. I think answering kind of globally, I think it's kind of a direct empathy for what their teams are actually having to go and do. And I don't mean a sympathy like, oh man, that sure is a hard job. I mean, actually putting themselves in the shoes. And the reason I bring that up is because what I've seen so many times is executive teams choosing tool sets, whether it's communication tool sets, engineering tool sets, even time logging, that are just frankly really bad systems and they don't work well together. And then their team kind of gets mired in the day-to-day of like working with this huge amount of kind of technical overhead and technical debt on what they're actually trying to do. And I think there a lot of times it's easy to forget those systems are not the job. Like it's not your job to go into the project management tool and keep it up to date. Your job is actually go and manage the project, and you're using that tool should be helping you report. But I think a lot of times that gets flipped, and the busyness of your day kind of replaces like the business of your day.
Mhm.
And I think it's something we really work hard on is like building strong systems that people work well in that actually enable them to go and get the actual job done versus being, stuck in the inbox all day, stuck in the project management tool, timekeeping, even things like pulling your pay stubs and W-2s and all of that sort of information should really be seamless and getting those things to work well together so teams can communicate, so teams can collaborate, because everything tends to break down at the interface where one team ends up siloed and they're not getting information to the other teams. And so breaking down those silos with strong tool sets, I think is the place to focus. At least that's where we'll be focused.
It is going to be really important for senior teams and organizations to have empathy. I love that word that you use for what is happening on the street, on the front lines in their organizations. And they take that back into the decisions that they are making about the tool sets, the applications that they are bringing into the organization that will enable more collaboration and sharing of information and communication across the different divisions.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if I could just underline it, I think oftentimes we think about whatever the business is building. In my world, we're building machines, we're building these large machines. But I think oftentimes maybe leadership doesn't think about the machine of the business itself. And are they putting the right pieces in place to actually get that to run effectively and make sure that people are able to get the job done? So yeah, well said. I think that's it.
Great. I love that. I just want to add one more thing on top of what you just sparked for me is we talked a little bit about in our pre-setup, like making sure as a leadership team that you're really talking about like together, what is the outcome that we want to drive with the system, with the tool? Like what is
Yeah.
the business that needs to happen and getting really clear about that in the leadership team and
Mhm.
then making the best decisions about those tools, those applications, those interfaces that need to happen that's going to serve the enterprise
Mhm.
most effectively, not making decisions in silos for each of the functional units and divisions. So that need to really elevate to an enterprise level and have those discussions and be clear about the shared business outcome that you're driving as a leadership team will be one of the critical skills in 2026 that you would say teams need to watch out for.
I think so. That's it.
Okay, I love it. Well, thank you, Ben, so much for your time. I'm excited to join your session. I can't wait. I'll be there taking notes. And I look forward to seeing you at RBTC's Emerging Tech Conference in Roanoke, Blacksburg.
Thank you. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, awesome.